Computer.
Welcome back to the Polytoxic Podcast. I'm your host, Little Miss VRB,
And I'm Sari Beth Rosenberg.
and we are here to bring you the most toxic topics of the news cycle this week.
We sure are. Well, when we came up with the name for this podcast, it was over a year ago. So, what an apt name for the times we live in right now.
We
A,
sure chose well. We chose well.
we chose well. I wish it wasn't fitting. I mean, I would have preferred it to just be like a nonsensical title for a calm times, keeping calm with Kamala. But no, nope, that's not
No,
what's happening. What is
no.
happening? What is going on? Where do we start?
Well, we have made it through the very first week of 47's second presidency, and I believe it is playing out exactly the way that we talked about, posted about, tweeted about for years. What are your thoughts on how he
Yeah.
came in straight out the gate?
Yeah. So everything we warned people about for the past several years, everything we posted about starting 10 years ago, every single thing is happening. And all I have that TikTok sound in my head nonstop. You're shocked? You're shocked? I'm not shocked. I'm mad, but I'm not shocked.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's I'm not surprised, like whatsoever. I am a little bit surprised at the speed of which I think they're trying to achieve things, but
Yeah.
in a way, I'm glad they're like showing their full selves
Yep.
less than a week in because it's giving me a really good idea of what we can look forward to, which is not great. But at
Yeah.
least I don't feel like I'm in the dark. I mean,
Yeah.
they're fulfilling their promises of all the horrible things they said they would do.
Mm-hmm. Promises kept. And they promised a shock and awe first 100 days. Again, I'm not shocked, but I think a lot of Americans who weren't paying attention as much as we were, might not have read Project 2025, hadn't been tracking the American Heritage Institute or whatever the heck they call themselves. It's again us saying that we're not shocked is us not downplaying the actual lives that are already getting hurt and terrorized from this administration, but not shocked.
We're basically going chapter by chapter. I mean, the other day I did a Blue Sky tweet that said, "Hey, I'm sorry I'm late to class today. What number of Project 2025 are we on?"
Mm,
Um,
that's a good one.
but I did see this evening, right before we hopped on to record, that lawmakers, I believe in Virginia, I could be wrong, but I believe they're already looking to take away get the right to gay marriage.
Oh,
So nobody should be shocked. I feel like that is kind of maybe what next week is going to be about. I think,
yeah.
this week they really zeroed in on immigrants and what their intentions are to do to keep the border safe. And I think
Yeah.
next week, this is my prediction, we'll find that um, women and the
Yes.
LGBTQIA are the targets for next week. That's my
I agree.
projection.
Yeah, I
That's
agree.
so far.
They've already started to do some stuff to target transgender people. I mean, the theme of last week was the full racism. So eliminating, I mean, these executive orders, at least, right? Eliminating DEI, saying no, that federal government can't celebrate or acknowledge Black History Month. There was pushback on telling the Air Force they can't teach about the Tuskegee Airmen, and they actually put that back into something they can teach. So, and I think it's more of like people are very quickly falling into line. Companies like Target are quickly getting rid of their DEI. It's as if they're
Target,
like,
actually, I have an update on
oh
Target. They
wait,
took it a
no,
bit further. So I've seen, I'm going to say a couple dozen videos by amazing Black creators, and they have not only taken away DEI practices in Targets, but all of the African American hair products. Like they have an entire section for Black girls' hair, which is amazing because things like that didn't really exist until not that long ago. Surprisingly, they just didn't have a lot of things for their hair, which that's the industry that I work in
yes,
professionally.
yes,
So I kind of
yeah,
know about this, but they have placed all of the African American brands on 50% off as well. So it looks like they're just trying to get rid of the
Erase
entire
it all. Erase it all.
area. Exactly. So we one way we can all say no to things like this, and I'm going to stay away from the P word, but we can
Yeah.
choose where we spend our money. So the
Yes, we
list
can.
is growing of lots of companies that we're not going to want to shop at anymore. And that is like a tiny way that you as an audience member can practice some activism is
Yeah.
by not
But
spending money on companies that do things like this.
yeah, we live in a capitalist country, so what speaks is money. Montgomery bus boycott, with the way they got rid of segregation in Montgomery, Alabama, on the buses was no one rode the buses, and there were the white people were helping out with it, but it was the entire black community that just refused to take the bus. And after about a year, they needed the business of black people. They needed them downtown Christmas time, and they finally gave in. So we're back here, right? We're back exactly where they wanted to put us. They want to terrorize people of color. They want to return to what they're calling merit-based practices, but I call it mediocre-based practices. I ranted about it in my Substack last night, if anyone wants to read
That
that.
was one of the best things you've ever written. It was amazing.
Oh,
Everybody should go
thank
and check
you.
that out for sure, for sure. You're right, though. I completely agree with you. I think
Yeah.
something that you touched on in your Substack was the reason why we are here is because we had Barack Obama for 8 amazing years,
Yep.
and
Yep.
all of those people had to keep those feelings inside. Um, During the Obama presidency, women and the LGBTQIA communities, everything was so inclusive. And I think he opened so many doors for us. And it's very clear immediately that this administration intends to slam the door on
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah.
But I think they are kind of undershooting, and they really like to talk about how there's so many of them, and I don't think that's the case. I don't think that many people agree with those type of policies.
I
um
agree.
we're already seeing the videos popping up of
Mhm.
people vocally regretting voting for 47,
Yes.
crying
Yes.
and saying how his new policies are going to affect their families. And what I have to say to that is I don't have any sympathy for it, because
Um,
you knew these things before you voted for him, and you choose to turn a blind eye to it. So I think there isn't as many of them. And, possibly one weekend, we're already seeing so many people regretting their decision. And so,
yeah.
maybe there will be, I'm optimistic that maybe there will be more pushback.
And also, in terms of the ice raids and all that kind of stuff. I saw a great TikTok before we got on our show, and it was one of the farm workers basically being or some no someone doing like manual labor, and he was like, 47, you want to get rid of us all? You come do this. Who's going to do this? And then I saw another video right after that of someone talking about how, and I don't know if this is like, actually accurate, but it kind of makes sense that would you show up to pick fruit if they're coming to deport you to a country that you're not even from? So guess what we're going to have? We're going to have a food crisis. And when
Oh,
peop and when people get hungry, like you don't even need to study history, you just have to know like about hunger. People are not going to be happy. Both Trump, both 47 voters and the others. Like, oh, I can't because let's talk about eggs. Can we talk about those eggs?
talk about eggs, but really quickly to touch on that, I live in California and we produce massive amounts of food for everybody, and our fields are empty, right? But another thing to talk about with these ice raids,
Yeah.
they're going into businesses. So
Yes.
these people are supporting the communities and the economy. They're going into places of work. They're going into hospitals where people are working and making it so it's a functional place for everybody. And so
Yeah.
it's the ice raids are freaking me out, and it's really concerned me about you as a teacher. Like, how do
Yeah.
you feel
Yeah. I mean,
about the threat of them coming in to harm your kids? Because I know on a personal level how much you love your kids and how
oh,
much you affect their lives, and how students from years and years ago are still in contact with you because you've made such an impact. How do you feel about the potential of them coming to your school? And do you want to share or feel comfortable sharing what you plan to do if that happens? You
yeah,
don't
I
have.
mean, I mean, luckily I'm in a sanctuary city, but it's also been a target because of that. And our policies protect our kids. So I just have to follow our policies. But it still scares me because again, I don't know. if we can trust the norms anymore. I'm going to model calm. I'm going to tell my students they're safe in school because I don't want them to be hysterical. School's supposed to be a safe place. It's sadly not because of, what happens with other issues with safety, which I don't want to say necessarily because of algorithms, but you know what happens with schools. There was just an incident in Nashville last week. Kids already associate with not necessarily feeling safe at a place where they should feel safest. But I'm going to be vigilant. I know that in one school district, some substitute posted, like, come to my school. We have tons of them.
I saw that.
So that's disgusting, and that person shouldn't be teaching. There was a raid in
Against like rules for
ERPA. Yeah, I think it is. It's just also just what? You know? What do you
he's in the wrong profession.
You
He's
chose the wrong profession.
in the wrong profession, but he has been named and his face is on the internet. So I don't know if
Oh,
he
he's
is in
not.
Texas, but I don't know how easy of a job he'll have in the future.
Oh, how could you trust him? Yeah, so I'm not concerned as much as a teacher in a state where their governors, aren't doing anything and where they're not sanctuary cities. But my heart goes out to the educators and administrators across the country who are going to have to make some really tough decisions. But I don't think it's a tough decision. It's like, your principles.
Well, I mean, I saw a tweet about this, and so I'm sorry, a skeet, whatever we're calling blue
I don't
sky.
know what we're calling them. Yeah.
Um, but it was someone saying they prepared teachers and people like you
Mhm.
for school shooters and the threat of being unalived in school any given day of the
Yeah.
week. And it was kind of like you prepared us to
Yeah,
get
I'm trained. I
you
already groomed. I'm
know,
already
let
groomed for
them
this.
come and try and get in between me and my kids. And
Yeah.
I just want to say teachers are the most, I think, underrated profession that there is. And I just want to thank you so much for everything that you do for them, and especially being a history teacher, because your specific area of teaching is going to be so important.
Yeah.
I think, especially with the threat of this new incoming administration.
Yeah. And reminding people the lessons of the past because there's so many parallels right now. And
I mean, we have a perfect example that happened just a couple
yeah,
of days ago.
yeah, let's talk about that. So,
Well,
I think it was the day of all their festivities. Uh, we all know what happened. He did it twice. They called it the Roman salute. It wasn't.
the richest man in the world.
Richest man in the world. And then a couple of days later, there was videos of him talking of, like, basically arguing for ethno states, and he made some speech after that about, Germans have to stop being made to feel guilty about what happened during the 40s. And then he also
He spoke
post
at a far right rally two
yeah,
days ago.
yeah, that's what he said there. And he also, like, he never apologized. He instead posted, like, the most despicable and stupid tweet with tons of references to Nazi leaders, like making puns and stuff.
It wasn't even coded.
No, it
It
wasn't
was
even
showing his vast knowledge
of all
of the
the
history
leaders.
of what happened in Germany, while simultaneously claiming that that's not what he supports. But
Right.
I think for me, the most vile part of all of this, not that that is to
That's
be given,
vile enough. Yeah, yeah.
it's to watch
Oh,
these people get on TikTok
yep.
and say, what are they saying? Like, I send my heart out
But
to
I'm not
you.
going to do it, but they do the salute.
Do the
The
salute.
one that's banned. Let's back it up. It's the one that's banned in Germany to this day. So they
That's
do
right.
the salute that's banned in Germany, and then they're trying to make this point that it just means my heart goes out to you.
Heart goes out to
One
you.
one video, this woman had her child doing it.
I
Like,
saw that. And that was the
oh,
most disturbing one to me because for years we have been called the G word online. I'm not even going to
yeah,
say it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
people have said we are indoctrinating children with a woke
yes,
ideology mind
yes.
virus. And I'm sorry, but if
What
you
was that?
are setting up your child in the kitchen and teaching him how to do a
That,
Heil, the
yeah,
camera, this is the most
it's vile. And this is you
So
know,
dangerous. It's so dangerous because these kids' minds are not formed yet. They are
no,
just going to repeat
and
what
do it
their
in
parents
school.
are
They're going to do it
telling
in
them.
school.
But it's just I can't believe people would film themselves doing such a thing and
They're
claiming that it's okay. It's just kind of
That's just,
shows
it just
how
shows
far
you
gone our society is right
we're
now.
so far gone. It's such a cult. We thought the maxi pads on their ears was ridiculous. This, they're like, hold my beer. Let me do
I
this
mean, they
one.
went from maxi pads to a Heil with a hard H.
The
So it's
hard
a
H.
hard H.
Right.
Basically, it's what it
Yeah,
is.
it is. It really is. So that, yeah. So like, but here's the thing. If you would have said to me 6 months ago, you know what could happen if he wins, I'd say, yeah, that tracks. That all tracks. That doesn't make it any more disgusting and vile, but this is why we were on our platforms 24/7 like maniacs, trying to warn people, trying to tell both the supporters of 47, the people who were saying they weren't going to vote, and the people who were like probably going to vote but weren't motivated yet. We were we put
You
everything in.
tried.
Yeah,
You tried.
I now I have all this not free time, but I'm like, what did I used to do at night? Oh, I made content. We were working with making content for Kamala. And um so how do you feel about the responses from people who either voted for 47 or decided not to? What do you see going on with those folks?
My feelings are probably not going to be popular, but I'm extremely mad at everyone who helped this to happen. 47 voters, never Kamala voters,
Mhm.
people who sat out and stayed home because the numbers don't lie. And if everybody that showed up for Joe Biden in 2020 showed up this year
Mhm.
with all of the new voters that she gathered as well, we
Yeah.
would have easily won this thing,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
More people did not show up than voted for him. Oh wait, I might be saying that wrong. I might be
Yeah.
like doing a dyslexic thing,
Yeah.
but
No, but yeah, I know what you're saying. We all know what you're saying.
people who didn't show up helped this happen. And
Yeah.
I strongly feel that if you did any of the three of the above, you don't have a right to complain about anything. I don't want to hear anything from you, and I'm not going to have sympathy for them. And I know
No.
we're not supposed to lose our humanity in all of this, but I'm sorry, I'm not comfortable with breaking bread with anyone
No.
who helped this happen to our country.
Our country, our democracy, the human beings in this country, they were, some people were saying it was against their principles. And it's like, so you let this guy win? We knew exactly. It's not like we didn't know it could be okay. We all knew how bad it was going to be. The man studied for 4 years how to make it worse than he did the last 4 years. So,
It was never about principle, though, just as much as it was never about egg prices or
no,
gas
it
prices
wasn't.
or any of that. And I sincerely feel like anyone
No,
within this last week who is sane washing any of this stuff that's happening is not one of us. Like,
no, no.
how I don't know how anyone could think anything that's happening is normal. And I don't want to hear that you did it for taxes.
No,
That
I
tells
don't.
me that you're so selfish and not caring about other people that you care more about your money. And that's another reason why I don't want to break bread.
Yeah, no,
So
I don't want to be around you.
that's where I'm at. Where are you at with
Yeah,
it?
I'm at the same place. I see some people who create content online back at it going after 47, and I'm like, you're really, like, you're back? You're here? Like, what's happening? Like, for the past year, you told everyone to either not vote or vote for a third party, and now you're here, ba- like, jumping in with us?
You're going to save the day.
Yeah.
I,
Oh, if
I've
you
been
just
on
yeah.
multiple podcasts over the last several years, and you know this
Yeah.
because about a year and a half ago, I decided I'm not comfortable with working with people who are posting these type of things.
Yeah,
But
there.
I am going to say it again on our podcast. I definitely think we need more than two parties. I could not agree more with that sentiment. However,
Yeah.
the third party people do not do the work. They
Nope.
show up a year before the election is going
If,
to
if
happen.
not even like
They
not
are powered
even.
by Jill Stein and like nasty money, and they don't have any principles for anything. So when an independent that has a serious party and has a plan of action and things to happen, I
Mhm.
definitely take that seriously. But
Yeah.
as of this time after this election, they're chaos agents.
They should have been like getting their third party ready a week ago, 2 weeks
No,
ago.
they're not. They're just
And they're
arguing
not.
everybody
Yeah.
online about this is because we
Yeah.
supported this. No, it's
No,
not.
no, it's
And
not.
that just shows me as well if they don't have any solutions or want to come like
Yeah.
adults to the table to try
Yeah.
and be taken seriously. But also, I'm upset with Democrats as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
Because
believe they haven't addressed us yet.
yeah, I keep posting about this, as do you, and I keep talking about this. Like, where are our brawlers? Like, we knew they were going to come at us with this crazy shock and awe campaign.
Right.
We should, if we don't have, we don't have a candidate yet, obviously, probably, so that's not happening. But the most outspoken of Congress members should be out the gate every day, holding their own press conferences with visuals, with receipts, discussing the real world reality, so the reality of what's going on and how it's hurting Americans and how their vote is is being basically taken advantage of by these oligarchs, right? And instead, I don't see that. I see. Shout out to AOC, shout
And
out
Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett, and there's some others, but it's a short list, and strongly worded letters and other type of like very chill missives are missing the point. And they're missing the mark in a way that's dangerous because we're out here, all these creators are out here being real, being honest with people who listen to us about how dangerous this is. And but like we're not in charge of anything. We're just average citizens. And there's people who, yeah, obviously they don't have dominance in the House, the Senate, the White House, Supreme Court. But say something,
There's no
galvanize us,
There isn't
galvanize.
a plan. There is no plan of
Yeah,
action except for that the younger, more aggressive members that are up with the times are being held back by
yeah,
senior leadership in the Democratic
yeah,
Party. And that's the problem. The
yep,
messaging is the problem. The marketing is the problem. The
yep.
strategy is the problem. And I'm ready for change, but I don't know how we get there. And so that's
Yeah.
kind of like where I'm at and trying to figure out how do we get ourselves out of this mess? Because you said it perfectly the other day. No one's coming to save
No
us.
one's coming to save
No
us.
one's coming
No
to get us
one.
out of this mess. And so we have to figure out how to do that. So
Yeah. And so that kind of brings us to, well, oh, we wanted you, can you just, because our last episode was all about the LA fire. So I wanted to get an update for you. How are you? How's your community? How's everyone out there? And I know that y'all had a visitor the other day.
we did. So first, I would love to just send a shout out to all of the firefighters, volunteers, everyone who's donated. Our city is doing so well. And yes, while there is like such extreme devastation, everybody kind of really pulled together and brought together the resources that we needed. They're sending our donations to other states now that need them because we were able to collect so many things that people needed, which is great. The other day, 47 came, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you all saw the video of Gavin Newsom. And I just want to send a shout out to my governor. That little handshake,
Oh,
he did not let him
no.
steal the moment, and then he kissed his wife afterwards, which was great. But
Ah,
47 basically came, trashed our state,
yep.
um, and our leadership, offered no resources, offered no help to us. Anything would be conditionary. And I'm just glad that he's gone and not in my
Yeah.
state anymore. But a fun little tidbit, which I have a video coming out on this probably later tonight or tomorrow, is there's a petition going around for, and if we get enough signatures, I want to say
Okay.
it's like 175,000. I'm going to have to check my math on that, but
Ooh.
X amount of signatures, which I'm going to be calling all of you to help me do, we're going to try and remove California from America. So
Oh my
there's a lot
God.
more details on of this, but I know people always joke about that. I am a proud tax-paying resident of
Yeah,
California, and my state alone could power the entire economy with our
that is true.
economy and our tax dollars. So I'm actually not opposed to that idea whatsoever. Whenever I have brought up the idea of states seceding or separating, I get chastised by a senior type of people. But honestly, why are we trying to stay together? We're not united, and we haven't ever been united, right? Like there's
Yeah.
been a lot of problems for a long time, and I don't understand why we need to stay that way when it's very obviously how polarized and split the wants are
And he's gonna, yeah,
citizens.
and that'll tank the economy. I guess I'm gonna have to move to California then.
Hey, hey,
That maybe is that why you want it? No, I'm just kidding. Oh,
I
just
love California. I don't
I
care
know.
what anybody says about it. I live in the greatest state. I have lived in multiple other states. I think I've lived in 6 states total. This is the best state ever, and I'm
It is a
proud to be
great
a
state.
resident. Proud to be a resident, and maybe we'll be our own country.
Oh my God. I have mixed feelings about this. Okay. So we all look forward to your video. I'll watch it. You'll probably convince me in the video. I'm like 50-50 on this. So this could be a debate we have later. But I get it. I
I
get it.
know it's not popular.
I get it.
I
I
know
get
it's
it.
not popular, but
Well, we can hash this out later. So
yeah.
speaking of just looking forward to stuff, I think what's going on right now is intended to freak us the F out every minute of every day. It's like, did you see this? It's like that. It's just the constant. Like, did you see this? Did you see that? Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. And that's their intention, right? And we're not going anywhere. I'm also not crying on the internet. I do not plan to be hysterical on the internet either. I know you feel the same way. But we're not going anywhere. And we're going to still continue to follow the news. They're not going to wear us down. They're not going to break us. We don't have what they call TDS. We're not going to be talking about that person unless it's necessary. And as you notice, we modeled that tonight. But I think we like to brand it as non-hysterical news. It's like we're unpacking every toxic topic out there that's on our radar. But what do you want to explain to everyone what we mean by like non-hysterical news, like our goal here?
Yeah. We have conversations about this a lot because for people like us that are reading this type of information, watching these videos, it's a lot. And the mental health thing is real. And I think I can speak for both of us when I say we have dedicated years of our lives to doing this type of work, unpaid,
Yep.
unprompted.
Yep.
We've produced both together and separately thousands and thousands of pieces of content. And the first couple of days after the election, I was in a terrible place, but I've
Yeah.
decided we have to try and get through this.
Yeah.
And we don't want anyone to think because we might bring things to you in a comical way or in a chill way of talking about this. It's just how I'm deciding that I'm going to continue going on because I can't do the hysterical. I can't do the
Yeah.
breaking news every 5 seconds. And
Yeah.
also, I think the public is getting weary of that. And so we're going to get together once a week like we do
Yeah.
and just kind of give you guys the breakdown of what happened. And we're also going to start talking about other subjects as well. We're
We
not
are.
just talk about politics because we decided everything is political. And so
Everything is.
we're really interested in growing a community of people, but we would love women to come and hang out with
Hmm.
us and
Hmm.
discuss books and film and other things
And we can
that
have special guests at some point, right? Like,
really,
yeah. So yeah, I think at some point we should talk about the Oscar noms, songs we like, because this is the one benefit, the one upside of living in these awful times. If you look at any moments in history, some of the greatest art comes out of moments like this. Now, again, I'd prefer the title of our podcast and to not have to be so fitting. And I could do there's good art already out there, so it's not like I'd rather just have bad art and just better times for everyone. But there's going to be some incredible artists and creators out there to provide us with some kind of respite from the breaking news. And I think we also want to highlight that as well. I consider myself an artist, as do you. So I think we can talk about that as well.
and one of the greatest acts of activism against fascism is joy and
Yep.
remaining happy and remaining hopeful and still having love in your heart.
Yeah.
For your fellow man and things like that. And so while they may want to beat us down, it's going to be pretty dang hard, I think.
They're not beating me down.
We're not going anywhere, but
We're here. Hi.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I think we should wrap it up, and we will be back next week with a whole other episode. What it's going to be about, I don't know, because we have to see what happens in the news, right?
Okay.
That's the fun part of this. So who knows what's going to happen? We've made some predictions. I guess we'll come back next week and decide and see if we were correct about our predictions.
That's right.
So I hope we're not, obviously. But so thanks so much for
We've been pretty
listening.
good so far. We've been pretty good so far with prediction.
Yeah. Oh, everyone get ready. Everyone get ready.
Right?
Okay. So join us next week. We have some other episodes from before you can watch as well. And follow Little Miss Little Miss VRB everywhere. Sari Beth Rose everywhere. Although I'm Sari, just Sari on Blue Sky because I was excited I could just get that name. I'm sure someone who makes those dresses, sorry, is mad at me, but whatever. So follow us everywhere. Follow my Substack. Follow her Substack. You know what you already do.
You
So
know the
we
drill.
we support. We're so grateful of everyone's support. I see it as like a community that we're building and growing. We have each other's back. We're going to be here for each other, and I guess we've
And
got
for
this.
you. And for you. We'll be here for you guys
We'll
too.
be here for you. We'll be here for you. So yeah, obviously that's the main part. We want to be here for you. Okay, that was selfish of me. Okay, good night. I'm not selfish. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.